Okay, hi, my name is Dave, and this is my first video ever being posted to YouTube. So bear with me if I stumble on words, say a lot, but this is my video on how to replace my 6-gallon propane / electric hot water heater with a new tankless hot water heater. And when I was doing searches on YouTube trying to find a video that really gave me the detail that I wanted, I didn't find much. I did find a couple. I did find one specifically with this unit, but he was installing into raw infrastructure, so he didn't have any finish in there, so he could wire directly to it. He didn't have to try to wire into his existing switch on the control panel. He could wire his propane, those type of things, and I was looking for one that was in a newer, finished model that we could place out. So, real quick, this is a PrecisionTemp RV 550. That means that it's 55,000 BTUs, gives you up to an 88-degree temperature rise. So, when I started looking at this, we're a family of 4. Look, we like to take showers, and we want to take hot showers like we do at home. Let's face it, 6 gallons of water just isn't enough. You're on and off with the water, and as it gets colder and you're camping in colder weather, look, the bathroom's not as warm as it could be, so when you turn it off, you're kind of cold. So started looking around. You can spend whatever you want. I chose to go top of the line. I figured if I'm going to spend X, I might as well spend a few bucks more and just get the get the one with the most power for now. So with that, the first thing I did is we have to be safe, of course. We want to make sure that your propane is shut off. I shut my propane off all the way in front of the source. You might have a on and off valve somewhere below the hot water heater, or maybe somewhere inside, but I chose to just shut the hot water off at the front. Electric, all we really need for the new installation is our 12-volt DC. That's our 12-volt direct current coming from our battery. This model also has a 110, 120 connection for the electric component, so that when you're plugged in at a campground or wherever, you can run combination gas electric, give you a higher recovery rate. We won't need that 110 connection with this model, because this only needs the 12 volt DC draw to ignite, and then the propane. And as long as you have an endless supply of water and a supply of propane, you can take an endless hot water shower until you run out of one or the other, or both. So with that all said, I shut that off. I'll open this up, and I've done some pre-work before starting this video. I've prepped done some things ahead of time, so I didn't have to do it in the video and wait for those things to occur. So I'll try to go through those things. Let me move the camera up here a little bit, and then show the hot water heater, what we're going to do here. So this is our existing unit, and so obviously one of the things you want to do is you want to drain it. Make sure you drain your hot water. Of course, the water wasn't hot, but there's a plug here that I removed. Take your pressure relief valve, put it in the middle position. That'll leave it open and allow for air to come through and allow for this to drain more quickly. I also again, with my propane shut off, I also unthreaded my propane source and pulled the propane hose, with the fitting back on the inside. So from that standpoint, on the outside here, I'm prepped. I'm ready to go. My next thing will be to undo all the fasteners, remove all the fasteners, and using a putty knife. I'm going to try a plastic one first because I don't want to damage or nick the outside of my trailer if I can help it. I do have a metal putty knife in case that doesn't work. Let me show some of the pieces that, since we're on the outside here, let me show some of the pieces that we're going to need. I tried to prep everything ahead of time. The last thing you what you hate always going through is running around the Home Depot when you're in the middle of a project. So you want to, I wanted to try to prep. So inside your trailer, you have, you probably have, it's a newer trailer, you probably have PEX tubing, very flexible and very easy to use and work with. And then they make these really sweet, slick, sharp bike fittings that just compress on to the end, and you're good. So I bought some extra of this in case I need to make a mod once I get the new heater in. Zip ties, of course, you always need that. You know, putty knives, I said, you need your drill for the removing the fasteners. The hot water heater itself, they give you 2 shark bite fittings for the back of the hot water out and the cold water in. So these are 1/2 inch to, I don't know if that's 3/8 or what that fitting is, but they give you those. And then these shark bites I bought are just in case, because I'm not sure if I'm going to need a couple pieces of PEX together to make the lines that I need, or I bought some extra 90s, half inch 90s to go. Real important, leak detector. You know, once you make your propane connection, last thing you want is your propane leaking inside your trailer. So bought some of that once we get that. Some number 8 1-inch screws. If you noticed, my trailer is gray and black, and this is white. So I bought some black spray paint. This door easily comes off. The only thing I'll have to tape up is this PrecisionTemp emblem. I'll tape this off, cut that out, make that all nice. I'll probably cover this, and then I might scuff sand it just a little bit to help the spray paint adhere. But I think on the back side, what I'm going to do first is kind of just test it, spray paint the back side a little bit, see if it adheres good, see if it sticks, and if it cures and dries well, then I'll just spray paint the rest and make it match. I don't have the butyl tape out here, but I do have a roll of butyl tape. We're going to put butyl tape behind the flanges when we put this back on, and of course some good old silicone waterproof caulk to caulk the outside once we're done. Okay, so this is the inside. I've removed the panel, and I have prepped. Like I said, I wanted to be you know, as far ahead of the game as I could, and I had some just, you know, concerns. I'm not an expert at this. I don't do this all the time. I just wanted to look at things, be sure I was planned out. So you can see I've removed the hot water out, and I've cut off the end because the end we won't need. And I have, there's my propane supply that I have just resting there. My cold water is, again, the ends are cut off. Now the 110 supply is right there. Okay. Now what I did for that is, again, you want to be safe. So I have this voltage detector that I picked up at Home Depot some time ago, and I wanted to make sure that this 110 wire is safe. So with the voltage meter on, if I place this against the 110 wire, you see that it's not doing anything. It's there's no current. That's because over here my my electric box, my circuit panel, I have the water heater in the off position. So just to show you, I will turn it back on, and when I put the voltage detector up there, you can see it lights up red, it's blinking, and it makes a sound letting you know there's voltage there. So we're going to turn that back off and go back over here, and we should be safe. There should be no voltage coming through anywhere there. Now what I'm going to do there is I'm just going to come back a little bit, and I'm just going to simply cut that wire right in half to remove that. Now that's the 110 120 wiring that I said we're not going to need anymore. So once I cut that, I'm going to tape that off. I'm going to keep this circuit breaker off. I might talk to some friends and see what else I should do to remove that. Maybe I'll actually remove the the circuit breaker. I don't know, but we won't need that, and that'll remain in the off position. Nobody really touches the control circuit box except me, so we shouldn't have any issues there. Now, our concern is we need the 12 volt, the 12 volt 110, and probably can't see it too well in there, but you can see the wiring come from the front of the hot water heater, and that's where our 12 volt connection and switches, 12 volt from our switches on the control panel were connected, and that's what we needed to isolate. Now, again, I'm not an electrician, I'm not a plumber. I have a multimeter. I wasn't up to date on really how to use it, couldn't remember too well, so what I did is I watched a YouTube video, and a real good one. This guy did this real good video on sorry, dog's barking. He did this real good video on your multimeter and how to use it and check your DC current and your AC current. Now, what I'm going to show you is that was good for me, because the one thing you want to be sure of, the one thing the manufacturer really warns you against, is any don't mess up the electrical. You know, don't reverse connect your polarity. If you damage it, you know, that's on you. You just cost yourself $1,000. It's not gonna. I'm trying to get this down here. Okay, so be sure that you are sure of which is which. Now, so what I did is I isolated this set of wires. So you can see there's 4, and I only need 2 because on the back of the new hot water heater is a red positive and a green negative. Now, the last thing you want to do is make assumptions here. So you want to be sure that you somehow, you know, use a multimeter, use some kind of detector to ensure that you have isolated your positive and negative. And I'll show you how I believe you really do that. So with those off, let me see if I can get that to stand up like that nicely. Maybe I'll put this here and see if that'll stand up. Okay, what I'm going to do is I'm going to turn on, well, no, first let me do this. I'll turn my DC voltage meter on to about 20 volts, so it should register up to about 20. And first I'm going to connect my positive and my common, and we see I'm getting, if you can see the digital readout, I'm getting just about nothing. Okay, so and that's what I should get. I really shouldn't get anything. Okay, now maybe I should move this here so you can see. Now I'm going to turn on my switch, and I'm going to turn on my gas switch. Again, we have a gas and an electric switch on our control panel. Let me show you. Let me see here. I'm making a mess of this. Sorry, but this is necessary information. So some of you might have a control panel similar to this, and you have a gas and electric switch for your hot water heater. Well, we're not going to use the electric one anymore. We only need the gas, and what this does is this turns on the 12 volt DC from your battery. So I'm going to turn that on now. We'll go back to the multimeter. Okay, and right there where we can see it. And now what we should see when we connect, when we hit the positive and the negative, is we are getting a positive 12-13 volts. Okay, and we know it's positive because there's no negative symbol in the display. Now if we reverse the probes and put the common on the positive feed and the and the red probe on the negative feed, you'll see we get a negative 13 volts. So that tells us, that pretty much tells me that I have correctly isolated my 12 volt DC connection. This is my red positive, this is my green negative, and I'm getting a good 13 volts from my battery, which is good. So I have that isolated. That's a good thing. Okay, now I'm going to go turn off the switch and come back. Okay, I just wanted to show while I had the video camera off and I turned off my 12-volt switch because I'm ready now to go outside and start removing fasteners and get to the point where I'm ready to pull this old tank out. The last kind of physical connection that I had here on the inside was that 120 power cord wiring. So I went ahead and snipped that, and you can see here, snipped in half, good to go. Leaves us a little extra space. God forbid you ever have to rewire anything, you could just wire nut this back to the connection, and you should be good. There's slack back there from the 110 that they ran. So now I'm going to jump outside and we're going to start removing fasteners. Okay, so obviously I'm not a film major, so apologies for all the camera shaking going on in there and the movement there. But I was trying to, I'm camera operator and installer all in one. So I was trying to move that around, so apologies there. Okay, so now, real simply, I'm going to start removing fasteners. I'm not going to leave the camera run for that because that's going to be kind of boring. I'm not going to fast forward. Once I get all the fasteners out, I'll stop. I'll restart the tape. Say a little something about having the fasteners out. Start working the butyl tape and whatever sealant is behind here, and then we'll be ready to start pulling this thing out. Okay, so I have all the fasteners out now, and you can see there's these corner pieces, so I'm gonna just pull these out. They should come out pretty easily. This door pops off like this. So now we have that off. We'll take the door off. That'll make it easier for us. Set that back here. Okay, and we'll take this this corner piece out. So now we're ready to start trying to pry this back. And like I said, I want to try to use the plastic putty knife if I can, because I don't want to scratch up my trailer if I can avoid it. So let's see how well we can get some good seal there. See how well we can get that pried. That seems to be good. Like this. So we have that. So let's come over here. That. Here. Good. And let's try the bottom. Okay. Now, let's see if this thing comes out. Drop my plug here. I'm going to go ahead and try to thread that just loosely back in so it doesn't get lost. Okay. Alright, so now let's just slowly ease this out. Alright. Alright, now I may not be a video major, and I realized that dead space there was not good. I'll try to edit that out. But now, look at that. I have a nice, clean opening. You can easily see my platform. You can easily see my wiring. Let me take the camera off and show that. There you go. A little bit of sealant left around the edges, and I'm going to try to clean up because I expect the flanges on the new one are going to go over that, and we want that to be a clean, flat surface for the new butyl tape to go on. You can see there's a platform built in here, so for the water heater to sit on, I'm hoping that I don't have to make any mods there. I'm hoping this one will just simply slide in and sit on this platform the way it is. You can see here, here's that 110 that I cut that we're not going to use anymore. Before I'm going to go ahead and get some electrical tape and I'm going to I'm going to tape that off and put that back out of the way, since we're not going to use that anymore. Okay, so like I said, all I did there is put 2 pieces of tape over the end, the length of the wire here, and then just wrapped around there. That should that should pretty much seal that connection off. Again, this is not hot. It shouldn't come hot with that circuit breaker in the off position, and ultimately I might just, if this is truly dedicated to that breaker, I might just pull that breaker, and just to ensure that it never does become hot. Okay, so as many of my friends know, I sometimes get ahead of myself, and I thought I measured this the best I could with the unit in, and I thought that I came up with the right rough dimensions, that this opening would be large enough for the new unit to go in. While the camera's been off, what I just found is that's not the case. Of course, I need another 1.5 inches up here to make this work. So I'm not exactly sure how I'm going to do that yet. I'll bring the video back on when I do. Obviously what I'm planning to do, I guess, is, because I'm not putting the 6-gallon water heater back in. That's, while I could, it's not an option for me. I'm at this point, I have this new beautiful one sitting here. I'm not going to put in the 6-gallon back in. So the only concern I have is this is framed, this is aluminum framed just for this size. So what we'll have to do is we'll have to sawzall up to that extra 1.5 inches that we need and cut this top piece out. Then I have a buddy who's a contractor coming over, and he's coming over now, and we'll figure out, you know, how we're going to shore this up. And either reuse this piece or just put some wood in there. I'm thinking we'll just put some wood across, we'll shore it up over here and here, and that'll be our top piece. So I'll come back once we get that sorted out. Okay, so I'm back. Some time has passed, and as prepared as I tried to be to have everything set up. The one thing, like I said, I did not account for how tall this thing was when I did my rough measurements. So I am having to cut out a piece that's about 1.75 inches, 1.5 inches, so that I have the clearance to push the new heater in. What I've done in the meantime is I've had to run and get some metal jigsaw blades. I have a high-speed tool. Of course, my battery's dead on my sawzall, and I picked up some L brackets. So I'm going to use 2-inch L brackets, and once I get this metal piece out, and I'm going to move it up in the frame up here, I'm going to use 2-inch L brackets to secure it in the corners and reattach. No, there's no aluminum welders down here. So what I've done now is I've cut up these corners. I've used a high-speed tool to give me a cut through in here. I'm across on the other side. And I'm going to use my jigsaw to come across the other way. Now, I was trying to hold this corner so it doesn't vibrate, but of course my plate on the jigsaw is going to make that difficult. So let's see. Now, I'm going to switch tools and go back to using my high-speed tool to make these cuts. The jigsaw seems to be All right, now the cuts don't have to be perfect. There is a flange that's going to go up here, but you want it to be as straight as possible. So this, let's see where I'm at. Okay, so I need to just use the jigsaw to finish these cuts real quick, and then this piece should pop out. All right, let's pull it out, see what we got. Okay, so it looks like okay, so it looks like I just didn't have enough depth on the on my jigsaw. My blade wasn't long enough, so it didn't get through this. So I'll use the high speed to clean this back piece up, and score it and just break it away. This this tubing is 1 inch by 1.5. So I was able to get cleanly through that, which is good, because I was concerned that that I might be splitting this. This is going to come up here like this, and we're going to use those L brackets, and we should be good. Okay, so my test fit, we're in. It's in there. It's sitting on the thing. It doesn't look quite level. I'm not sure about that yet. I'm gonna play around with it and figure that out. I certainly want it to be as level as can be. You know, in my head I'm thinking as long as it's sitting flush on the platform in there, then it's probably the trailer being out of level that makes it look that way. But it's in. The cutout that I did up top is good. Once I get the tube back up here and secured, which I haven't done yet, I'll be good. My flanges here cover the opening. I have corner pieces that we'll put in here. So all these holes for fastening it to the trailer are going to hit the aluminum tubing in here, so we'll be able to fasten and have a good secure hold in there. So with that, I'm going to pull it back out. Okay, let me set it over here, and then now, you know, these trailers are not they're not made the best, but they got to be light, right? So up in here, in this channel between the two, the exterior panel and the interior panel is just styrofoam. So I'm not exactly sure how I'm going to get rid of that styrofoam yet. I'm going to go find myself a big screwdriver, maybe a crowbar or something, but I'm gonna try to scrape away. And I have my shop vac out here. I'm gonna try to scrape away as much of this styrofoam as I can, so that so I can get this piece of tubing back up in between there and fasten it up. So come back soon. Okay, with just a combination of a flathead screwdriver, the aluminum tubing itself, I managed to carve out a channel, and this will fit nicely up in there. One thing I realized is there's still some welding on this this vertical tubing piece, so I'm going to use the high-speed grinder, try to get that weld off of there, so I have a nice flat flush surface to attach those L brackets. Let me show this, what I'm talking about. And sorry, these are actually 3-inch brackets, but I'm going to use these 3-inch brackets like this with some self-tapping sheet metal screws. 2-par should do it. That'll secure that up in there nicely and give us plenty of surface area to attach our fasteners and secure the heater up here. So with that, I just got some cleanup to do, some shop backing, and I'll be back in a few.
Daddy, what are you gonna make after you?
Okay, I have my welds. My welds are all knocked down. This L bracket will sit pretty flush with that with the vertical piece. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to put this piece back in. Now I have my holes from the old piece, so I'm going to put that to the inside, and I'm going to turn those to the back so that no chance of us using those or enlarging those. So we'll put that piece back up in here, and we're just going to shove it up there as tight as it'll go, and we're going to give this a good push up, see where that is, see how that lines up. Because this piece is vertical and this is a perfect 90, these L brackets, I'm going to rely on that to get this piece lined up in there. So with that, I'll grab my trusty cordless, and I'm going to put this L bracket in there, and we're going to hold it up right till it's about level. Just like that. Okay. Okay. Like that. Put another one in. Okay, good. That's good. Right. There, we're going to do this one. This one up in position. Get it up there as high as it will go. Looks to be about level with that the end of that existing tube. That's good. That's what we want, basically. So we can get a fastener screw. And let's get this in there. Get some up pressure on it. Not very good left-handed, so we will do our best here to apply pressure. Okay, so let's bring it in for a closer look so you can see in here these corner pieces. You see those are now secured in there and in there. Okay, and that gives us a nice upper rib there. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and shop vac and then apply my butyl tape, and we're ready to push this thing in. Okay, so I'm ready to start putting my butyl tape on. Butyl tape is like a like a putty tape, pretty sticky, pretty pliable. Feels like your old school days, your silly putty. But what it'll do is give a nice weather-tight seal to the side of your camper along the strip. Now, I have a lot of it, and I don't really have much more use for it after this. So I'm gonna use and fill the entire flange with the butyl tape whatever adheres to the side adheres, whatever's just you know, left there is so it's pretty sticky, pliable. Just go ahead and you know, just get it on there, stick it on there. When you get to the end, just kind of use the edge to peel it back like that. There are corner pieces once we get up there, so we'll do that. Kind of measure this one out, I guess, here. Let's see. Now this package came kind of compressed together, so just peel the backing off. It seems to rip sometimes, so we'll peel it this way. And just go ahead and get it nice. And what you definitely want is to be covering the fastener holes with it, because you want the fasteners to go through it, and you want it to compress right where your fasteners are. So I'm going to fill that like that. Press that back, and now I have two good sides here, top, inside. I'm gonna go ahead and do the same thing on the other sides, and then I'll be ready to put this in and start fastening it up. Okay, so now I have all the butyl tape on. You see, I did my best to cover all the area and not leave anything. Like I said, I had the butyl tape, so I might as well use it. You know, I made sure not to overlap, so there wasn't any kind of bulging, but I made sure to try to cover it up. The bottom's done as well. So with that, we are ready to push this baby in, get it seated, and then we can do our corner pieces and start with some fasteners. I'm excited. Here we go. Okay, so I have it seated in there. Or not fully seated yet, but it's in there. One thing I'm going to do is try to make sure everything's evenly spaced. Is top and bottom, I know I'm good. I know on the bottom I'm sitting on that platform in there, so I'm not going to have any issues there. What I want to do here is I want to try to get this as centered as possible, so I'm about 1.5 inches here, and on this side I'm a little less. I'm like 1 3/8 inches. So with that, I want to try to get it over a little bit more without. There, I'm about 1 3/8 inches and about 1.5 inches there. So I'm probably going to get it just as close as I can. I'm not going to be able to get it perfect. So with that, I'm going to go ahead and give it a good smush. Get that butyl tape seated around there, and get those flanges pressed against, so that you're in a good spot to have that fully seated. So with that, it looks good. It is seated. Let's take a closer look. My spacing looks pretty good. My corners there, you can see. Yeah, looks like it's in there. So we're just gonna press it in. Okay. Now, before I start putting fasteners in, I'm going to go inside and take a quick look. Just make make sure everything looks kosher inside before I do anything like fasteners. Okay, right back. Okay, so these corner pieces are the next thing, and they're kind of goofy. They don't really, in the instruction manual, give you a good indication how they're supposed to go. There's a hole here on this flange, and there's a slotted hole here on this flange. Best I can figure, you know, it's meant to go like that. For some reason, these don't line up. So my intention here is, what I'm going to do is I'm going to use this hole here. I'm going to line it up with this hole, and then I'm just going to probably put a little pilot hole there, and put my fastener in there, and just call that a day. The corners will be done. I put 2 fasteners in up here right now, just to kind of lock it in place. I'm going to do the same down here. Then I'm going to do my corners, finish all the fasteners, and we'll be good. I put some butyl tape back behind this corner piece, and once I have this secured in place, then I'm just going to use a razor, being very, very careful. I don't want to make any real kind of grooves or slots into this outer layering, because anything like that could be a way for weather to get in and actually ruin the wood behind this laminate or whatever it is. So I'm going to be very careful. Just try to peel this off so it's not laying around. Once we get the door on, the door should cover it all up. Okay. Let's take a quick peek and see what happens when we do put the door on. So yeah, we're going to want to clean up that that butyl tape and be sure, so when we get the door on, everything's nice and covered. Okay, be right back. Okay, I just wanted to show real quick before I finish off these corners how I've kind of packed the butyl tape, cover up any openings that you saw. So now all the openings that were left from the cutout are covered with that butyl tape. And my plan at the end, once I have it all finished and the door on, is I'm going to clean up the butyl tape around these edges, and then silicone caulk around it all, hopefully giving it that strong, secure, weatherproof bond. Okay, so I'm going to finish up fastening it, and we'll come back and finish the inside. Okay, I'm going to try to give this description even with the motorcycles going in the background. My boys are riding, but I just struggled for a long time with these with this door. So I must have, the unit must have been somewhat out of square. I could not get the door to sit on there. You could see how it has this cutout for the exhaust. Well, I could not get that around, get this in, and get it to sit on the two pins at the bottom. So that I just fought with that and just bent things around, to which I didn't want to do, and it doesn't look like it's sitting fully square, so probably tells me that the unit is out of level a bit. So I probably should have done a better job at trying to level the unit. In my mind, the hole was level, the other unit was sitting in there level, and so I may try to level this thing here in a minute by undoing some of the fasteners, raising it up, making some new fastener holes, since I won't be able to reuse the holes that are there. Okay, so I just wanted to put a finished touch on my video here and just show from the inside. There's really not much to it. All I did is use the shark bite fittings to put my hot water out, coupled that up in there to the existing tubing. My cold, same thing, just coupled it to there. That's all good. I used I put paper towel around these, just to make sure if I saw anything, sometimes you can't actually see the moisture, but the paper towel certainly show it. Didn't have any issues there. My propane, that was pretty straightforward, just like the old fitting. It didn't have to make any modifications there. I did use the the leak sealant, like the bubble water, whatever it is, and got nothing back. You can see here, all I did is tie together my positive and negatives for my DC. And now on my control panel, I only use my gas switch. My electric switch does nothing. So that's really it. That's the end of my video. That's all there was really to the install. If you have any questions, comments, or feedback, look, like I said, not a professional here. Just did this as as a kind of DIY video to help those that might be trying to do the same thing. Feel free to post them, and thanks again for watching.